thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for the people watching on the live stream. Thank you for everybody watching us on ACIM Gather or listening to us on ACIM Gather. And now thank you for anybody and everybody who might listen to the YouTube video later after the YouTube video is created. So we really appreciate all the opportunities to participate with us. So thank you. Okay, the title, In Your Eyes, Guidance. Okay. So many years ago, I think I have to go back decades ago, so a couple of decades ago, when we were on Market Street and I was talking, we had a person who was coming, and after he had come for 4 or 5 weeks, he raised his hands and he said, it's really easy to just sum up what Rev Tony has to say about A Course in Miracles. You can do it in 3 letters, A.F.G. And I said, A.F.G.? He said, yeah, ask for guidance. And I thought that was really actually pretty good and actually pretty accurate. That it is, I think, the basic message and the kind of the basic message you can tell anybody and everybody about A Course in Miracles. If anybody asks you something, you can say, I don't know what you should do or how you should study or what it's going to mean for you, but if you ask for guidance, you will get the guidance that you need, and that will be the answer for you. And that's really the only answer. And I think A Course in Miracles is really clear about that and very solid on that, that is the major message that it wants us to get, that we are eternally connected to the divine, we are eternally connected to divine wisdom, and the answer to every single question that we could possibly have is accessible. It's there. We just have to ask and figure out a way to discern and figure out a way to listen to get those answers. Course in Miracles says, in everything be led by Him and do not reconsider. Trust Him to answer quickly and surely and with love for everyone who will be touched in any way by the decision, and everyone will be. So in everything, in absolutely everything, be led by Holy Spirit. Now, I always like the thing when it says, and do not reconsider. Because I think that, you know, we get the guidance, and then we wonder, is that really the guidance? Is that really the guidance? So let me ask again. Maybe I'll get a different answer the second time. But in everything, be led by Him. And once you get a sense of that answer, don't second guess it. Don't ask again just to make sure. I think it's important to have trust in the process. I mean, I think that's what's important. Another thing I realized once, and I used to say this, you know, in essence, it actually doesn't matter what the answer is. And it doesn't matter what you do in most situations. But if you did everything with the confidence that this is what Holy Spirit wants you to do, it would work out. It would be the answer, because it's that confidence in going forward that manifests and creates the right path. It almost isn't the individual guidance. Should I go this way or should I go that way? Should I have a relationship with this person or should I have a relationship with that person? It probably doesn't matter, but as long as you do what you do confidently, believing this is what Holy Spirit wants you to do, you will manifest that thing, because it's getting recreated in the moment as it goes along anyway. So you'll manifest it the right thing, and that's why asking for guidance is so important. That's why following the guidance is so important. That's why not second-guessing the guidance is so important. Because your second-guessing the guidance is your doubt. And your doubt then will make things not work out. So it's being able to rest in that confidence, I think, that is so important. The workbook of A Course in Miracles, as probably most of you know, ends with a single lesson that is repeated 5 times. And so after 365 days, after doing all the workbook lessons, you know, it wants to leave us with a single thought, and it wants to cement it into our consciousness so solidly that it repeats the exact same lesson 5 times. And it is, this holy instant would I give to you, be you in charge, for I would follow you, certain that your direction gives me peace. So asking for guidance, talking to the Holy Spirit, turning every instant over to the Holy Spirit is such an important thing. It's the last thought that the Course wants us to really get. We didn't get anything else. Just get that we turn every instant over to the Holy Spirit and just follow that guidance. And then it continues on, it says, and if I need a word to help me, he will give it to me, meaning the Holy Spirit. If I need a thought, that will he also give. And if I need but stillness and a tranquil, open mind, these are the gifts I will receive of him. He is in charge by my request. So, whatever you need, a particular word, a particular thought, he's going to give all of that to you. He's giving it all of that to us all the time. And even if it's not words, even if it's just stillness and tranquility and a little bit of peace, that's what you'll get. And trust the process. But you got to do your part. You got to A.F.G. You got to ask for the guidance. Now, another thing that I realized, and I was thinking about this week, there was a series of events that caused me to think about it, is also, of course, how important relationships are in A Course in Miracles, and how important A Course in Miracles says are our holy relationships, our relationships that we join with people in the Holy Spirit, in the holy instant, and they're actually our salvation. And what I began to realize is the guidance that's so important and the relationships that are so important are actually totally intertwined. They're actually the same thing. We get the guidance when we're in relationship. We get the guidance when we're connecting with the other person. Course in Miracles says, every minute, every second gives you the chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. So every instant, every second that we're connecting with another person is that moment to save ourselves, is that moment to hear the voice for God speaking to us, is that moment to get guidance on what to do. And it just, for me, I realize that it swells up into my mind when I'm in the midst of a connection with somebody else. I guess I'm letting go of my idea of separation in that moment. And I get guidance frequently about questions I've been asking when I have that moment of connection with another holy child of God. And I began to realize that how often my guidance doesn't come necessarily in the moment when I've asked about a particular thing. It comes in subsequent moments when I'm connecting with another human being, with another holy child of God, and suddenly that thought or that idea just comes and it makes sense, it fits the picture, and I realize God has given me the guidance and it's come to me because I'm connected with another brother. I let go of my idea of separation. I joined with the oneness again. The Holy Spirit is there. It comes and we get that every instant. And I also realize that I get that more fervently and more directly if I'm looking at the person in the eyes. That it's that eye contact. I make eye contact with people. When I make eye contact with people, there is this thing that happens. You lose your sense of separated self. There's an old expression that says the eyes are the windows of the soul. I tried to look that up as to where that came from, and nobody really knows. It's a lot of people have used it. It's biblical in some sense, though not those words exactly. Cicero used it, said something similar. Shakespeare said something similar. So it's been around since antiquity. But the eyes are the window into the soul. And I want to reach my own soul. I want to reach the soul of the Holy Christ. I want to reach the soul of the totality of the Holy Child of God. And I do that when I connect with other people. I do that when I look at their eyes. And it also, I found out that it works pretty well to look in my own eyes, in a mirror sometimes. Just to look in a mirror and look at my own eyes and connect with my own soul, my own sense of self. I do a program on Gather. All of you Gather people, on Fridays at 5 p.m. And those programs on Gather's a chat platform. So you're just talking basically into a computer, and sometimes people like type little things to you, and sometimes they don't. And they've recently added, a couple of years now, they added video option to Gather, and or to Pal Talk. And so you can have a video camera, and you can turn the video camera on. If other people have their video cameras on, you can see them. Except not very many people have opted for this option, because it costs a little bit of extra money. But I decided to do it, so I opted for it. And so every once in a while somebody will come on with a video camera and I can actually see them. It's so amazing. But even when there isn't somebody there, I can see myself. I can see my own video, and I just talk to myself. and I get the guidance about what to say by looking into my own eyes and just connecting with the grander me, the larger me, the Christ that is me. And the hour goes by. I mean, doing a program on Gather is a little bit of a challenge because you have a whole hour just to talk. And, just talking without sometimes getting a whole lot of feedback is, it's a challenge. But I found that since I turned the video camera on and looked into my own eyes, in my eyes, in your eyes, in everybody's eyes, I get the guidance. I get the guidance about what to say. The whole Gather experience for me has gotten so much easier since I turned on the video camera and actually have somebody else to look at. And even if there isn't somebody else, I just look at myself. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about the song that we sang a little while ago, In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel, and I listened to the song, and that's a pretty hard song to sing. I don't really think we can sing that. And but I was thinking about it, and then the next day, Sharon Casey, if she's listening, she told me she was listening, sent me a little text, and she goes, we should sing In Your Eyes at the next conference by Peter Gabriel. We did it. It was great. And you missed it, sir. And I says, okay, that's the guidance. Again, so the guidance came in the midst of my communication with another human being, my connection with another human being. I wasn't looking at Sharon Casey's eyes in that moment, but there was that soul-to-soul connection. She got the message. She said something. She gave me the guidance. I started searching for karaoke versions of In Your Eyes, and I listened to a lot of them. I thought, you can't sing to that, and then I found one. I found one that we could sing to this. And so that's what we're singing to, that version, and it's great. And I love that song. I mean, that's a really interesting song, and I think a lot of you who sang it here with us, probably was the first time you really got to look at the lyrics to that song. It says, in your eyes, the light, the heat, I am complete. I see the doorway to 1,000 churches. I just love that. I love that phrase. So in the eyes of whomever, in your own eyes and in the eyes of others, you see the light, you get the energy, you get the heat. And I love that, just that imagery and that passion. And we feel complete. And in that completion, that's when we get our messages. That's when we get our guidance. So I think it's so important to just remember that. Just to remember how important relationships are in A Course in Miracles, how important holy relationships are, how important guidance is. And when we have holy relationships with every single person that we meet, when we meet anyone, remember, it is a holy encounter. It's right there on the wall. As you see them, you will see yourself. As you treat them, you will treat yourself. As you think of them, you will think of yourself. Never forget this, for in them you will find yourself or lose yourself. We can find ourselves in those holy instant connections, eye to eye, holy relationships, other people, and we get all the messages that we need. Some practical things about guidance. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Boston, and we were checking out the hotel for the conference and checking out all the tourist excursions, and Reverend Kelly and I, and it was great. We were really busy, and a lot of meetings with the hotel. But another thing that happened while I was in Boston is I organized a workshop there at Vicki Thomas's home in Quincy, Massachusetts, which is right outside of Boston, and Vicki Thomas is going to be one of our presenters at the Boston conference, and actually she's really been helpful and is partly responsible for us deciding to go to Boston. We had a strong local person in Boston who was going to help us put the conference on. But it was my first time of being able to listen to Vicki Thomas, being a presenter and what she had to say. And she talked a lot about guidance. It was really great. And she talked about how she uses guidance in everything. She'd taken that quotation, in everything be led by him, but do not reconsider. She goes, so she planned food for the 80-plus people that were there. And she goes, when I go to Costco to get the food, she goes, I don't have a shopping list. She goes, I just walk around, and she goes, I just get messages, get that tray. And she buys it, and then she says, should I get 1 tray or 2 trays? And then Holy Spirit says, get 2 trays. Wow. And so she goes, that's how I just do that. She goes, so, people say, well, thank you for doing all this work. And she goes, well, I don't even really think of it as work. It's just me going into the store and asking for guidance, and I get the guidance. I don't even have to plot it out, and everything just works out perfectly. In everything, be led by him, and do not reconsider. I have said before, and I'm going to say it again, if you're having some difficulty getting guidance from the Holy Spirit, start with things that you have no emotional attachment to. Things that are really blank and flat. And a favorite one of mine is, how much time on the microwave do I need to set for this thing? It's great practice. It's great practice. Holy Spirit, what, 2 minutes and 30, no, 2 minutes and 20, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Okay. And it's amazing, it works. It works. I burn less food and dry out less food this way, honest to God. It's a great thing. And it's good practice on how to get guidance and listen to guidance. And I talk about the parking angel. I do it for parking places too. Because when you're looking for parking places, you gotta, do I turn left or do I turn right? Well, who do you ask? You ask the Holy Spirit. Or you ask the parking angel. The Holy Spirit's, thank you. The Holy Spirit's illegitimate cousin. You ask the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit says, turn right, so you turn right. Should I look to the right or the left? The Holy Spirit says, look to the left, so you turn left. You're just in the flow, and that's why I don't have any trouble finding parking places. I take a few minutes sometimes. I always find parking places, and if anything, it just gives you that sense of confidence and that sense of surety. And it's out of that sense that you just get led. Because actually, like I said in the beginning, probably doesn't matter whether you turn left or right. Exactly what you do probably doesn't matter. What probably manifests the parking places is just being confident that you're going to find one. And that confidence is then what does it. In relationships, and we're all in relationships, and we all have a relationship here. Thank you very much for coming or joining us. But in the more intimate relationships, or just in your friendships or your working relationships, what I've noticed is that if I look at the person in the eyes and connect with them, I know what to say to them. And I know how to say it in a way that will work better. They'll get the message, there'll be less hard feelings. And I have noticed that whenever I'm really upset with somebody, I look away. I look away so I can tell them how I feel. I can't really look at them, but if I really want to give them my ego message, I can't look at them. Because if I look at them, it's just like, I'll be looking at their eyes, and I'll connect with their soul, and I'll see them as me, and then all that stuff I felt I needed to say, I won't need to say anymore. So in your eyes, like the Peter Gabriel song says, the light, the heat, I am complete. You get your guidance. I see the doorway to 1,000 churches. I mean, what a great line that was for Mr. Gabriel. So they're the spiritual message that you need from every church that you could possibly get it is going to be given to you in those holy relationships when you look at the person in the eyes and connect with their soul. You're going to get the guidance that you need. You're going to get the message that you need. Course in Miracles says over and over again, we got lost, and God sent our brothers and sisters here to lead us out of this maze that we're in. And it's glorious. It's glorious to connect with our sisters and brothers. It's glorious to know and feel confident that we have all the guidance that we need. And so look in each other's eyes, connect with the soul, look in your own eyes in a mirror, connect with your own soul, connect with the totality, get the guidance that you need, practice with the little things, and just rest in that glory of connection, relationship, and guidance. Thank you. That's my talk for today.